Shaun, we all move our shoulder in the golf swing, hopefully, right? We all move our lead shoulder in the golf swing. We're going to show you in this video how to make sure you're moving your lead shoulder like you see the pros every week on TV. So we're going to show you what you're likely doing now. We're going to show you why you're doing it. We're going to show you what to do, and then ultimately how to do it. So one of the most common movements we see that really differentiate from the amateurs that we're seeing on a daily basis versus professionals is how this lead shoulder moves in the backswing. And, you know, the golf swing seems to, everybody works on it in kind of trends, right? 15 years ago, the trend was everybody were getting their shoulders too flat. Now the trend seems to be the opposite. And when we have golfers set up to it, we'll get Shaun to demonstrate here. I'm going to put my hand right outside his lead shoulder. And the move that we're seeing happen every day is in the backswing. This shoulder isn't moving very much at all across the golfer's body. It's moving more down, right? And if you've seen any of our gears videos, and there's a sensor right here, their shoulder isn't really leaving this sensor very much. It's just going more downward, right? So a great way to see if this video, this shoulder movement applies to you is video your swing, put a line straight down from your shoulder, put a line on this side of your head so you know you're not cheating by just sliding your whole body to the right, and make a backswing and see if you're getting any increase in distance versus keeping the shoulder right up to it. This is the movement we're going to change in this video. We're going to get you more like the Tour Pro movement.
Let's look at some videos of different pros with different styles of swings. First up here is Adam Scott. We're going to look at these guys from address to mid backswing. Notice as he moves there, how much his left shoulder moves across in just the first half of his backswing. You're not just going to see these great players move their left shoulders across them, but you're also going to see them do it early. Now let's take a look at what happens in more of a short, compact golf swing like here with Jon Rahm. The movement is still the same. His lead shoulder moves a lot, and it moves early across to his right. The shoulder's still going to move down some, but it's because he has forward bend here at setup. And when you turn around a forward bent spine, your shoulders are going to move on an arc like you're seeing here. But that's a far different movement than trying to add in left side bend or a left side crunch in your backswing to steepen your shoulder line. Next, let's look at Brooks. Notice as he's moving his shoulder across, he's allowing his head to move some. None of these guys are trying to keep their head rigid or in one place. The normal range we see from good players as far as head movement goes is for them to move it a little to about half a head movement to the right here in this early part of the backswing. And it's not a swing flaw to let the head move in your backswing. And for many of you, it might actually be necessary to allow your shoulder to move properly across your body. Then lastly, let's take a look at the GOAT. Like the other guys, his shoulder moves across several inches and does it early. This move not only helps you make a good takeaway sequence, but it also sets you up to dynamically sequence from the backswing to the downswing. It helps give you that critical middle part of the swing that we see so many amateur golfers missing in their swings.
So now you can recognize if you've got an issue with your shoulder movement. Now let's talk about why that happens, because the concept that you're trying to implement will create the tactics, right? So you want to make sure you have the right concept so you can create the right movement. So we see this happen a lot because golfers are trying to get their shoulder turns steep.
Right.
Somewhere down at the ball.
Right. So if I set up and from this down the line to you and the ball's right here where my club is, a lot of golfers are coming in, with the concept that they need to have their shoulders pointed somewhere near the golf ball. Right. That's way too steep.
We posted this video a while back on our Instagram page. If you don't already, make sure to give us a follow on Instagram because we post videos there that we can't post here on YouTube. And if you take away one thing from this video, if you remember just one thing, make sure that it's your shoulders do not have to, or really should not, point at the golf ball in your backswing. We've been fortunate enough to measure players who've won over 400 tournaments on tour, won over $1.5 billion out there playing golf. And none of them even come close to pointing their shoulders at the ball in their backswings. This graphic includes all of the steepest shoulder turns from our database. The median distance here is for the shoulders to point 48 inches beyond the golf ball. That's 4 feet beyond the golf ball. Yet we see golfers every week trying to, in some cases successfully, pointing their shoulders at the ball. You should see the look on their face, the look of relief on their face when they learn that that's not a trait of good swings and that they don't have to keep trying to do that. Not only is it something we don't see great players do, it's also extremely physically difficult to do and drastically limits your ability to rotate.
And we know this because when we see this shoulder not moving lessons, even when they're warming up, we'll say, all right, so what have you been working on lately? Need anything with the shoulders? And they'll go, yeah, I'm trying to get my shoulder turn more pointing at the ball. And it's 100% the reason why people do this.
Yeah, and the major issue with that is that it's a steep position, right? So if I unwind from there, automatically the club is going to move out towards the ball, and I have to make some kind of compensation, whether it be a big sliding move or whatever, to shallow the club out.
Yeah, unless you do. So you're putting yourself in a steep turn.
Yep.
And then, if you put the arms up, if I turn at all, things are going to go out. So golfers, the better players that do this will start to slam the body back the other way. And we saw a guy 2 days ago, he covered 33 degrees of spine tilt this way to this way in about a quarter of a second, or tried to cover that much. And it was not a pretty ball flight because it was all over the place.
Yeah, then you've got, problems hitting the ground in the right place, right? So what Mike's saying is that there's a line on gears that comes out of the top of the golfer's head that kind of indicates where they are this way. It's way this way, and then they got to go way this way in a fraction of a second. Makes it hard not only to hit the ground in the right place, hit the ball solid, but to control the club face.
And you can fix that just by where you move your lead shoulder. So I try to keep it in place and move it down. That starts to tilt, especially if you have better lower body movement. So I want to make sure that my shoulder is moving properly to create not only those angles in the backswing, but more importantly, set up the downswing. All right, so the big key here, we've seen how the shoulder shouldn't really move, or we've seen how amateurs move the shoulder. Now we want to take a look and show you what the professionals do. So Shaun will set up to it again.
Yep.
And I'll kind of be we'll just put on the outside edge here of his shoulder. Now, we know what the professionals do compared to the AMs. They move it across their body. They're moving that left shoulder double digits in inches across their body. We see their average right around 12 inches of that shoulder moving across them. Okay, now it's not a sway, right?
No.
So do that by swaying.
That's
different. It's not that, right?
Yeah, you could monitor it, just keep an eye on where your head is. I can move that shoulder across without swaying way to the right.
Doing the shoulder across doesn't mean you flatten your shoulders, right?
No.
You still keep shoulder tilt. It just means you're not driving the shoulder down to create a bad swing. And that's the key here. The shoulder's got to move across the body to build the proper backswing depth and width in the arms, because we need to do it from down the line, because we need the width to the arms as well as the depth.
So if the ball's right here, right, I'm going to make a backswing turn, moving the shoulder away from Mike's hand. And if I put this across here, I still have some tilt. I'm just, it's all built in by my address position. I'm not having to do anything extra to do that.
That's exactly right. So the difference of going down versus across is the difference between the amateur move and the professional move. Now let's talk about how to do it. All right, so all you need to learn how to do this, right, which is what matters most. When you know the concept now, too, all you need is a golf ball and a golf club. So set up to that ball there, Shaun, face on view of the camera here. And let's put the club across your shoulders.
Yeah, so you got a little pointer here.
Yep, and if you can get it up high up above the microphone there, I know you're trying to avoid hitting that.
Yep.
So we're going to use this intersection point between the club and his shoulder. He's just going to move that behind the golf ball. Now I'm going to stand behind him and just make sure he does. I'm going to give him a little room here to move his head if he wants to. Just make sure. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, and just put my back to the target. It's not really an excessive turn at all.
No.
If I let that go across, that gives me just enough tilt and lets the shoulder move across where it's supposed to be instead of down.
Now, a great way to see this and feel this, let me have your club, is if you do a left-handed shake for me. So set up to it, and he's just going to shake my hand left-handed. That's the shoulder movement you want to make.
Such a great way to feel it.
Right there. That's it.
Missed your hand.
Missed my hand. You're making a shoulder move.
Exactly.
It's awkward making a left-handed shake.
Yeah.
So that's really it. It's making sure that this shoulder moves across from the get-go, again, without, I don't have to do this to my body.
No.
And if you think of the golf swing as no more than just a tilted turn. So everyone gets turning like this. No one tries to turn, I'm going to turn level. Now I just bend over, and I still turn 90 to my shoulder.
Exactly. And it puts the shoulder plane well outside the ball. So if you can
let's have you do that.
Yeah, this is a good one. So I'm set up.
We'll use this same ball as a reference there.
Okay. So if I make a backswing from here to the top and just put my club like this, that's not pointed anywhere near the ball.
Yeah, your shoulder should point anywhere from 4 to 8 feet beyond the golf ball.
Yeah, depending on the golfer. And
My shoulders would be a little steeper because I'm 6'5".
Yeah.
Someone, how tall are you?
5'9". If I have a
5'5", what?
That's great. Yeah. If I have a driver, I'm going to be quite a bit out.
Right, it's going to be a little flatter. But the key is don't try to point the shoulders down around the golf.
We see it all the time. It really is a swing killer. It's such a steep position. That player every time is going to go this way unless they make some kind of crazy body to shallow the club.
Exactly right. And just, if you want to see it, get a broomstick, get one of your golf club driver, and just move it behind the ball without making your head move. And your head can move a little bit, half a head, kind of the back.
No problem.
And just get used to doing that. A handshake is a great way to think.
You're actually better off not freezing your head because a lot of times you feel like it's frozen, you'll make the bad motion.
That's exactly right.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and give it a like. Also, if you have any questions about today's video or you have an idea of a video that you want us to shoot, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. We read every single comment. We also respond to the comments. So again, leave us a comment if you have any questions or there's anything you'd like to see. Now, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. We have videos coming out every single week and we don't want you to miss one. So by clicking subscribe, that ensures you're notified right away when a new video comes out. And hey, if you want to add instant distance to your drive, and we all do, everybody wants more distance, go ahead and click the link in the pinned comment below. You're going to see a link. Click on it. It's going to take you to a page. You're going to enter your name and email address. We're going to send you an email where you're going to get access to instant distance, which is a video training that we put out. We know it's going to help you. We know we're going to see you farther down the fairway.